many of you have heard of the alt-right? Maybe you heard about it in the news or even social media, and if not, you've probably heard about some of the violent or offensive results of alt-right action. For those of you who don't know, the alt-right, or alternative right, is a far-right white nationalist movement, majorly found in the USA. It is characterized by racism, misogyny, homophobia, and memes. Yeah, that's right, memes. The alt-right has predominantly spread through the internet, which has led it to be most accessible to teenage boys who can easily access alt-right content through platforms such as YouTube, Twitter, or even TikTok. With a lack of regulations and a constant influx of new media, the growth of the alt-right online has been increasingly hard to prevent. So, what can we do about this? First, we have to look at how these repellent ideas have spread so fast and so far. A major factor in the promotion of the alt-right is the influence of media personalities. Someone we probably all heard of, Andrew Tate, most recently gained notice over his massive rise in popularity. Marketing himself as a self-help guru, he appears to have a perfect life, and he managed to influence particularly insecure boys who want to gain confidence or popularity. The Guardian has stated that he gained up to 11.6 billion views on TikTok alone. But judge for yourself the value of his advice. I think the woman belonged to the man. Depression isn't real. Ugh. Or, I will not administer CPR unless you're a hot female. Who agrees with that? Well, this is a man who has been influencing so many of our younger brothers, or male friends, a man charged with human trafficking and other horrific crimes. Other controversial figures may come to mind, such as Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, or even Katie Hopkins, yes, a British person like us. While they might not be explicitly alt-right, their far-right or radical conservative views can lead to the alt-right pipeline, where viewers are guided towards more extreme right-wing speakers, such as Stefan Molyneux. You might not have heard of him. He's a far-right white nationalist, and he actively pushes conspiracy theories and racist views. Not great. These media personalities are extremely influential, as I said, insecure boys, and give these boys someone to blame for their own problems. This further fuels hate and prejudice everywhere. But that is not all. How many of you have watched YouTube conspiracy theories? You can put your hands up if you have. As I thought. Okay, you may have heard of some of the more popular ones. The Earth is flat, or moon landing was faked. Yeah. But how many of you actually believe them? Oh, okay. Those examples were pretty clearly untrue. But if you were only exposed to these beliefs, I think a whole lot more of you probably could believe that the Earth is flat. Fake news and conspiracy theories are integral to the growth of the alt-right. InfoWars, great hat, is one of the most infamous examples of this, with a penchant for spreading conspiracy theories and political myths, particularly surrounded Donald Trump. InfoWars is an extremely popular website and YouTube channel, which according to Quantcast, gained over 10 million monthly viewers in 2017. This gives it a greater reach than some news websites, such as The Economist. Often their theories are really, really bizarre, and it's hard to imagine how anyone could believe them. Okay, could you believe these? Chemicals in the water are turning frogs gay. The government has weather weapons for a nice tornado, because they thought it'd be fun, maybe. Or mass shootings are faked with crisis actors. I really hope you don't believe them, because they're not true. These claims are extremely dangerous, and they can actually lead to health risks. I noticed a large amount of anti-vax articles and even a live stream on their website. These could lead to people becoming anti-vaxxers, making them and those around them more susceptible to dangerous diseases. Furthermore, these conspiracies can result in violence towards others, such as hate crimes fueled by the anger stirred up by homophobic, racist, or sexist articles and videos. By consuming enough far-right content, like the theories I mentioned, you could fall down the alt-right pipeline, where more extreme far-right or political views get pushed towards you by an internet algorithm. This slowly indoctrinates viewers into the alt-right and cements it in their minds. Look at one picture of cats, cute, and get a bunch of cat photos the next day. Except, guys, this is a whole lot worse than cat photos. The problem with this is you can get stuck in a digital echo chamber where you are only exposed to content that reinforces the beliefs previously put in your head. This can feel like a new exclusive club or community for these boys, but all it does is encourage the offensive behavior they might be showing. By ingraining in susceptible teenage minds, these ideas can really last into adulthood. These can affect the attitudes and behavior of young men and normalize misogyny and violence to them. In the most extreme examples, the alt-right philosophy has led to people losing their lives. The growth of mass shootings, primarily seen in the USA, where they have grown from 273 in 2014, which is still a lot for 1 year, to 690 in 2021, which is actually insane. This has been in part linked to online radicalization, as shown by the Buffalo shootings of 2022. This was an example of a racially motivated far-right shooting inspired by online radicalization. Notably, other far-right assailants have cited the internet as the start of their radicalization, mentioning subcultures, conspiracy theories, and memes in their manifestos, which explain their motives and their beliefs. So, what can we do about the growth of the alt-right in teenage boys? I have some suggestions. Firstly, with better regulations, especially on algorithms or fake news, we can prevent the spread of the alt-right pipeline. With regulation on speech that could incite violence or could be seen as hate speech, we can also prevent the popularity of alt-right media personalities. But these would still be pretty difficult to enact, and these regulations would probably need a real person to help filter content. There is also a fine line between prevention of hate speech or speech that can incite violence and the infringement of free speech. So for this to work, there would have to be great care taken over what gets regulated and what doesn't. Something that could be more effective than regulation is my second suggestion: education. Education on race, gender, and sexuality can help prevent violence. It can give people the logical backing to reject ideas from the alt-right of racism and misogyny. Furthermore, mental health provisions can be important, as male mental health is often overlooked, leading them to find other means to vent their frustrations. This, at its worst, can mean joining the alt-right. Schools should encourage conversations and confrontations on difficult topics, which can enable those who have been indoctrinated into the alt-right, or even who are just looking at conspiracy theories, to be exposed to opposing and contrasting beliefs. So, there are solutions to the growth of the alt-right, especially in teenage boys, but they will only work with a group effort. The alt-right poses a danger to you, to me, and to everybody who wants to live in a safe and democratic society, and all of us really must push to create this world. To do this, we need to call out, confront, and discuss the alt-right. Thank you.